my feet onto the mat and just push it from one side to the other. Encouraging the hips to loosen a little. And then here, locate your right leg, bend, and bring the ankle and the calf in. Grab a hold of your calf, draw it in. Keep that other leg nice and strong. So the idea here is to rotate the outer hips in the direction of the inner groin. And pretend that you have a sandbag on top of your leg, or perhaps you have a sandbag handy, but just have this idea of weight on top of that straight leg, okay? And then from here, encourage the outer hip of your right leg to move down in the direction of the end of the mat. Continue to do that as you bring the foot up. Now here, you can push down with both hands on either side of your calf muscles as you lift up through the foot. And notice that as you lift up through the foot, you begin to engage more through your hips. Yeah? The outer glutes, the inner groins. You want to keep that area really active. You want to give those strong muscles a good workout, because as they engage, then there will be much greater ease for circulation to move into the area of the joints. So then take your hands to either side of that foot. Kind of spread the foot with your hands and push down further. All the while, continue to encourage that right hip to move down towards the end of the mat where your other foot is. Continue to move it down. Move the hip down as you push down with your hands, and all the while you're resisting the pushing of the hands with the foot. So whether you have your hands here on either side of the foot or here on either side of the calf, the foot is pushing up, wants to touch the sky. Keep going like this. You should feel a lot of activity on the outer glutes. If it does not feel comfortable in the low back to have that bottom leg straight, then by all means bend it. It's absolutely fine to do that. Yeah? Wherever you may be. But if you are having the leg straight, keep that thigh really engaged. And if you're having the leg bent, really press down into that foot. Press down into the foot. So then from here, you're going to create a little tripod with that right arm, like so. Okay, so I'm just using the left for you to see better. And that little tripod is going to support you from bringing that leg too far out. So it's going to create a little barrier. So if you have that wall, if the wall is close to you, you can use that. And then as you have that barrier, as you create that barrier with your hand or the wall, the idea is to move from the inner groin out. So for the inner groin, you're extending the knee out and away against that barrier. And the outer glute is really working here. So it's dense, it's firm, it's active. And the more active you get those strong muscles, the more space you get to discover in the joint. And the more space in the joint, the greater ability you have to get some circulation moving there. So there's no gripping, no tension anywhere. There's just a true engagement on the area of the hips. Engagement of the muscles around the hips. And then from here, begin to move the foot towards your chest in the direction of the chest. But look, take that opposite hand, grab a hold of take a hold of the ankle like so, like you're pulling the calcaneus out of the calf muscle. Yeah, so that you don't do one of these businesses. It's really, the foot is so deeply interconnected with the hip, right? So by maintaining integrity here, then you also are supporting the opening of the hip. So keep working this way with this left hand. Now take your right hand and nestle it under and encourage with your hand to have the shin come in towards your chest. And then with the elbow, you're encouraging the thigh, the inner groin, to move that knee out and away. So again, with the left hand, you're pulling the foot out. With the right hand, you're drawing the shin in. And with your forearm of the right arm, you're encouraging that inner groin to lengthen to the inner knee. You're not forcing anything with the hands. You're just using the hands as an encouragement for this movement to unfold from inside. And of course that takes time, it takes practice, but this is a wonderful way to move in that direction. Breathe. And then locate that bottom leg, bend it if it's been straight. Bring that knee in like so. Grab a hold of the back of the thigh. And again, using this barrier as a way to encourage that right outer ankle to press into, to encourage the knee to broaden even more. And perhaps it's there for you to straighten the leg all the way out, in which case go right ahead and do that. Maybe you can even take your hands out to the calf muscles and once again push down into the calf as you lift the foot up. But not at the expense of forgetting that right hip, because that's what we're opening right now. So from the inner groin of that right hip, extend out to the inner knee. And the outer glute of the right hip is really working, it's really engaging and pushing down and back. A lot of work here. A lot of work. And yet it's so loving to the joints, right? Because you have no gravity. You're not pressing against gravity in any way. So it's a wonderful way to release the spine without taxing the feet or the knee joints. And then from here, go ahead and take that straight leg down if it was straight, or just bring it the foot all the way down. And then this right foot, bring it all the way up and around so that it comes down into the ground. From here, catch the hand onto the outside of the foot, like so, and straighten the bottom leg. Now as you straighten the bottom leg, you're going to turn it. Encourage that bottom hip, the left hip, to move down. The right hand can come around the inner groin and again in the direction of the top of the knee, moving it out and away. And then the idea here is from the very core of the pelvic floor to lift up, to lengthen up, while the legs are strong, rooting down. You may even want to take it further, bending that bottom leg, the left leg, catching the foot with the opposite hand. None of this is necessary by any means. It's just like additional playtime, yeah? To have a bind that allows you more freedom is absolutely wonderful, yeah? But to have a bind that restricts you further makes no sense. So we investigate, we see where we are today, and we play with that. Both shoulders should be on the ground. Those right ribs, the top ribs, you want to encourage them to move down. So you're creating space here along the waistline as well. So the base of the spine. Breathing room there, creating space. Birds are singing, very happy. We had a little bit of rain today. And you're going to unravel from this very slowly because you went quite deep. So straighten that bottom leg if it's bent. Draw that top leg in as you started. And then lower it all the way down gradually. And as you do, once you're there, Observe the feeling that you are experiencing on that right leg in comparison to the left leg. For me, the right leg feels a bit longer, which is a lovely feeling because it's actually shorter for me, so it's a chance that it gets to even things out. Maybe it feels lighter, closer to the ground. Just notice, observe. And then let's go ahead and tackle the second side. So drawing that left knee in, take your time. Both sides are quite different. So have no expectations that you'll go as far on this side. Just welcome it with curiosity and see how it unfolds. That bottom leg again, nice and strong, nice and straight. If you already know that it will serve you best to bend it, do it. No need to wait. And then here, again, encouraging that top hip to move down, down, down. Encouraging that outer glute to engage. Huh? And draw in. And then as you feel ready, bring that foot up. Both hands on either side, pressing down as you lift the foot up. So pressing down through both sides as you lift the foot up. Pressing down and lift up. Top of the other thigh is engaged, easy to forget. I notice, I forget often. I often notice how much I forget. And then from here, you may choose to bring the hands to either side of the foot, kind of like spread out through the sole of the foot. And wherever you may be, hands on the foot or hands on the calf, the idea is that as you push down, you're also resisting with the foot. Resisting the foot will instantly engage more through the glutes, right? And these muscles, because they are strong, it's a great indicator that they're there to support you, but you've got to use them, right? You've got to use your glutes. You've got to use your thighs. They will help you so much, free from back pain, from knee pain, and keep your body young, right? Muscles that are working, thriving, keep you working and thriving. And then from here, you may then begin to bring the foot out to the side, the knee out to the side. So this knee out to the side bit is really unraveling from the inside, right? The inner groin is opening out, the outer glutes drawing in. And like we did on the other side, creating this little tripod with your hand. Perhaps you have a wall here or some other kind of resistance. So the idea is to resist the shin in. Right, so you're resisting the shin in as you encourage that knee to open out to the side. So the knee opens out as you create that resistance. So just here with the hand in this way. And breathe. Now I notice that it's very easy for that left hip now to creep up a bit, yeah? So send it down. You really want to create some length, some space along the area of the waistline. That will support your lumbar so much. Breathe, open. And as you feel ready, begin to move that foot in the direction of your opposite shoulder. Again, take the hand in this shape, moving that calcaneus bone out and away, and then take the opposite hand, bring it through, and the hand encourages the shin to move towards the chest, and the upper arm, just below the elbow, encourages the knee to open up. But this work that you're doing with the hands is really just a reminder for you to consider this unraveling, this opening of the pelvic floor to be happening, of course, from within. And that's just a matter of quieting down enough the distractions to be able to sense it, yeah? To get to know it, to get to know how the body travels. It's a fascinating journey, deeply rewarding, a journey I never get tired of, as I keep on discovering. As you feel ready, bend the opposite leg if it was straight. Bring the knee in. And, by the way, if you know it works for you to have the leg straight, then by all means. Otherwise, keep it bent and then straddle the hands through like so. So as I push down through my calf, I'm also lifting the heel bone up. And as I do this, I am reminding myself that the work is really here on that left outer hip. So I'm encouraging it to move down, down, and open out. So I have to recruit my outer glute to do that. Really want to do that. And breathe. Maybe you can catch the foot. If you find that if you do, it begins to cause some straining along the neck, and let that go. Unless you have a strap nearby, you can explore that as well. But the work is not just here. We're not really focusing on the hamstring, although opening the hamstrings is a tremendous support to the lumbar. But the work that we're doing is just really more directed to the lubrication of the hips for today. So keep rotating that knee out. And then when you know you've had enough, draw the leg, lock the top leg in if it was straight, bring it down, and then bring that left foot up and around. So the foot is on the ground, your hand is supporting the outer ankle so that it doesn't slip away. And then go ahead and straighten the bottom leg, turn the torso a little bit so that the hips somewhat stack, like the left hip is moving up and back, right hip is moving down, and then the left ribs, encourage them to go down as the left thigh moves out and away from the abdomen. And so as the base of the abdomen lifts up towards the crown of the head, both thighs are moving down in the opposite direction. And if it's there for you to bend that bottom leg to catch the foot, have fun with it. But no need to strain anything in order to accomplish that, right? Again, you're just binding in order to explore, to discover more space. Some binds provide us with that, while others don't. So you just be inquisitive about the invitation and see how it may or may not work for you today. Breathe. And then from here, release the legs. Again, very slowly, find your way back to where you started. Legs are bent for some of us, with the feet on the ground, stable. Some of us straighten the legs all the way down. see to it now that the left leg may have received some greater length as well, and feels a little bit lighter or closer to the ground. Just notice the work, the effects of the work that you just did in the ways that only you can do. And so then here, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to come back around and take a seat and notice how you feel. So maybe you had a few blankets before, maybe you do one less blanket than you had before. If you're sitting on your chair again, just notice if there is more ease from the work that you just did. And if you've got the time and the interest to deepen into a little bit more work along these lines, then watch my next little video. It's just one, turning it up a notch from where we did here, or maybe just reflecting back on what you just did by positioning the body in those ways, just in your own quiet time, so that it's better internalized, so that you have it for you as a little break in your long sitting days, or as a antidote to a cranky back, or as a support for your